Alright, so I originally didn't know how this run would play out because the bow and arrow moveset, it's just very different. If you play this game, you know that the bow and arrow moveset feels nothing like anything else in this game, mostly because it's, you know, completely different. It's the only ranged weapon in the game, and it was just super innovative. So, and I really love the moveset in general. I play with it particularly on Chaos because of how defensive of a moveset it can be. You can snipe officers like super easy even on Chaos. It's not that bad, and because of how defensive it is, it kind of keeps you alive on that game mode. But for speedrunning, you know, you're trying to kill the enemy commander as quick as you can. I wasn't really sure how that was going to play out with the bow. It turns out it's actually not that bad, and I was able to pick up on it pretty quickly. You know, when you're on the lower difficulties, you end up killing the enemy officers really quickly anyway, so it's really not that big of a deal. The main improvement for this run, which I felt like got me a way better time than oldies, was the Conquest of Wu mission. I've practiced that map so much, and I feel like I know it like the back of my hand, where all the enemy officers are. I've just done that map so much. It's my favorite map in the game, so I don't really mind speedrunning it. And in this run, I didn't get the Yuan Shu skip, and you know, that was kind of expected. You know, you really need to hit you need to get a tone pickup and then have special start as well with true speed to try to get that. She obviously doesn't really have that, so I wasn't really expecting a Yuan Shu skip anyway. And when it comes to the execution of that map, you really just want to just follow the officers in order of what I do. It's basically the exact same run every single time, no matter who you're really playing as. The only difference is like spawn location. There's a few officers with specific spawns and true speed, but I just pretty much followed what I did in the individual level speedrun, and it's basically the same execution, just with a little bit worse of a time. And obviously at the end here, I also have to like loop back around the eastern side of the map and take out Yuan Shu, which is kind of like an extra step that you don't have to do in the individual run, but that's really because, you know, you can obviously just skip him entirely, which is pretty cool.
What is going on here? Why are you fighting over my land? I hold the Imperial Seal, which makes me as good as the Emperor. We shall punish all who bring war and chaos to our land.
Who says a woman has to be weak?
So the son of the tiger is a worthy adversary in his own right. We have not the strength to stop him.
What a fool. As I thought, the seal has beguiled him. Now, Sensei, we must defeat him and take back Wu. From there, we can unite the land under our banner.
I have come for your head.
Who says a woman has to be weak? This face is all mine. Who says a woman has to be weak?
Young fool. Still, I had not thought my armies would be so easily defeated.
Well, I am certainly glad for reinforcements. Liu Bei, let's defeat Yuan Shu!
Who says a woman has to be weak? 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 Who says a woman has to be weak?
Victory is ours! Well fought, everyone! Wu has returned to the Sun family.
Hooray! We won!
when it comes to Chang and Bi, it was really just good execution. You know, Bi in particular is basically perfect, and the one that I should try to replicate moving forward with like future attempts on Chang. And these two were also pretty simple in the fact that you're just running to the enemy commander and getting them. On Chang, you want to go around the left side of the map. That's kind of the only way you can go because, you know, going through the gate just takes way too long. And even if you wanted to do that efficiently, you would still need to use the 1 minute gate tactic where you wait 1 minute out of render distance and then a ladder pops up, which is the closest, the fastest way you can get around a gate or through one. But obviously, it's just completely useless to use that here. GB, on the other hand, you just run to Cao Cao. I mean, he's just chilling on his ship, so you just go over there and fuck him up. There isn't really much else to that map besides that. You know, also, you know, there's always a good dose of RNG that you need to get when you're attempting these. The enemy commanders don't exactly always help you with trying to get these speedruns, so that's really the only thing that kind of would potentially stop me on either of these maps.
Forgive me. I wasn't able to fulfill my duty. This battle is pretty much over. Well fought, everyone.
Hooray! We won!
We must drive off Wei's boats. Zhou Yu, I leave command of the army to you.
It is almost time. I shall begin preparations at the altar.
Then we shall prepare the fire. Huang Gai, head for the boats.
I have come for your head.
The boats will move when they hear this gong. Then our path to the enemy will be open. However, the enemy will also be able to attack us. You must be careful when you move the boats.
Who says a woman has to be weak?
You sought glory.
Who says a woman has to be weak?
I must pull back here. My ambition is not yet extinct.
Who says a woman has to be weak?
Cao Cao's forces have pulled back. Raise the call for victory. We have won.
Hooray! We won!
However, Chengdu, oh my goodness, I messed this one up like really badly. I think it was a complete disaster. I ended up with a way worse time than I was even like getting before or anything like that. But because of Conquest of Wu, that's really the biggest variable in terms of the Musou runs. And I'm kind of going to go off on a side point here, but a lot of the Musou runs, there's one or two maps that might be the biggest challenge, the biggest like variable. I call it variable because the other maps are pretty consistent, where certain maps can have a large gap in time change. And I described like Cheng as one of those maps because it's literally 6 minutes long. You're just like waiting for the peasants to go to the dock. So there's a big variable of time where like they can just be an extra 10 seconds faster or slower even if you do everything perfect, you know, because it's such a long mission. And Conquest of Wu is kind of one of those maps too. It's not really, it's more up to the player where you can actually execute, and if you execute properly, you're fine. But there's still so many enemies you have to take out. It adds more RNG to the map than as opposed to other ones where you're just taking out one officer. So because I did so well on Conquest of Wu, I decided to just keep going here, even though I got a terrible time on Chengdu. I think it can be at least 15 seconds improved by using Shang, and it wasn't even comparable to oldies times, so yeah, just not a good one for me.
A liar and a thief. He shall not have this land of Shu. Prepare for battle.
What fools come rushing through a forest? This mistake shall be your last.
Lord Liu Chang, piece of Chengdu. We shall protect all.
Who says a woman has to be weak? 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 Who says a woman has to be weak?
It was an unpleasant battle, but I thank you for your aid. Our path to the future begins here, from Shu.
Hooray! We won!
Ling is just another good example of me getting good execution on Shang. There isn't really much else to it. I mean, you do have a gate to break, and I feel like the bow is pretty good for breaking gates. It's not perfect, you know, true speed. You can obviously get a faster gate break, but it's not horrible compared to other characters are when you try to do their Musou modes. But aside from the gate hit, you're really just running over there and attacking the enemy commander. It's like the other ones. Nothing too special. I mean, I think I follow the exact same thing I did in the record run for the individual level as well. So it's pretty much the same.
Shang, you would turn your bow on your own brother?
Brother Quan, my life is before you. I have made my choice. I must live with it. Who says a woman has to be weak?
I shall remember this.
Who says a woman has to be weak?
Not yet. My vision is not finished.
Who says a woman has to be weak?
Victory is ours! Guan Yu, are you watching?
Hooray! We won!
Fei Castle, I was able to improve a lot using the 1 minute technique that I have for gates. Oldies, the person who originally had the record for this run, he didn't use the 1 minute technique, at least not on this one. He might have had knowledge of it, but he definitely didn't use it for this one because I got a way better time on Fei Castle. And I've also stated this prior, but the 1 minute technique, I'm pretty sure it's around 1 minute. Anytime I try doing below that to get a faster time, it doesn't end up very well. It's not consistent at all, and I never get ladders to spawn. And so I just went with a minute so that, you know, I could have a consistent means of speedrunning. Even if I did 50 seconds, I wasn't getting ladders to spawn, so a minute really worked out for me. And also make sure you're timing that based on when the engineers begin attacking the gate. There's 2 messages that'll pop up where they start marching towards it, and then when they actually reach it, they'll start attacking it. So it's the attack message that you're waiting 1 minute, and then afterward, if you're out of render distance and you go back to it, it'll have ladders there like 99% of the time. And usually a jump on the western side of the castle would work in this speedrun, but Shang cannot perform this jump with the type of heavy attack she has. And so the jump requires you to jump, obviously, and then also you press Y or triangle, and you'll get an extra boost of jump. But Chang, it doesn't really work out too well. She doesn't get that boost like the other officers do that allow them to jump over the wall, so you have to use the 1 minute technique. And overall, I would love to go back over this one. It's actually been sitting on my computer since like June. Every time I've tried to go back over it, I haven't been able to replicate the Conquest of Wu as well. But I haven't seriously grinded it or anything since then. It's just kind of been here and there. However, at the end of the day, my time was so bad on Chengdu that I think there's a lot of room for improvement here if the other maps can also be executed properly.
More enemy troops are approaching from the west. They will be here any minute.
You must trust your skill greatly.